Hello, hello, hello. It's your boy, the Beast One. Welcome to another week of Dad Mentality Podcast. This week, we're going to talk about love, relationships, marriage, and just talk about the journey of becoming one with partners. You know, you can catch us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. But make sure you join us because, we talk about these things and have a good time. You know what it is.
What is that's mentality? What it is? The mentality of taking care of family. As a man, I get lonely. I can't even call my homies, but I answer every call when my kids call me. I'll be there when they need me. They depending on me. They looking up to me. Sometimes we gotta fix our mental. Or maybe it's not meant to be a dad, a father, that's what men do. I made a promise to my kids, that's what I do. I just want them to do things better than I do. Or better yet, better things that I did. What is that's mentality? What it is? The mentality of taking care of family. As a man, I get lonely. I can't even call my homies, but I answer every call when my kids call me. I'll be there when they need me. They depending on me. They looking up to me. Welcome to the show, shout out to the coach. And Maddie Ice, Ice Cold Crypto. And each one, teach one. That's mentality, we just try to reach one. What is, that's mentality.
Hello, hello, hello. It's your boy Beast One. Welcome to another episode of Dad's Mentality. As you know, I don't do this by myself. Unfortunately, this week, Matty Ice had a emergency, so Matty Ice was not able to join us this week, but we're going to put our prayers and stuff out to him to make sure everything's good, so he'll be back with us this week. But y'all know my boy Emillion Grand joined me. We've been together hanging out as friends since we was 4 years old. From the sandbox to the podcast is my boy Vance Robs, aka Coach. What's going on, Coach?
What's good with you? How y'all doing this week?
Man, doing good. So this week I had y'all know that every year I do the relationship conference at my church, Elevate Church. Shout out to them. This year we was in Indonesia, as y'all know, with the last couple of weeks of broadcasting. So I had to send my reporters out there to the relationship conference. I want to call it the relationship conference because that's what it is. It's for any aspects of a relationship, including marriage, dating, and so forth. And it's always been a blessing for me to go. Coach, you've been the one too, right? You muted.
Yeah, I went to the one in Virginia Beach.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's something that I definitely encourage anyone to do. And we have my two reporters, Paul, and also his beautiful, beautiful wife, Crystal. How you doing today, Paul and Crystal?
What's up, cuz?
I'm doing well. How you
Y'all
doing?
doing well. You doing well. So I'm gonna go ahead and
like that.
Paul. Hold on, real quick. I got to do my intro. They are both. They're happily married. They're parents. I know that Paul has his own clothing line. He also has his own music, and I unfortunately, Crystal, I didn't know you was joining us, so I didn't do enough prep work for you. But I definitely know that you are in the mental health field, or exactly tell me what you do. Go ahead and tell me what you do.
I am a college and career counselor, and I'm studying psychology to get my BA from UDC.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. See, that's what I'm talking about. You would think such an educated person would be smarter than the Mary Paul, but it's okay. We'll go ahead and let that go because everybody gets their blessing, and I understand that you are his blessing. So
Amen.
it's there's a lot of praying mothers and grandmothers that prayed for him, and you have answered that prayer.
Thank God.
But also, I do want to shout out my little cousin Paul and my boy with his He's got music out there. You want to definitely check it out. I'm gonna go ahead and play his recent song that I know he has put out here. And you know, let y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments, okay?
Yeah, I treat the trap like the Oval Office. Everything presidential when you know I'm flossing. Getting money, my religion, guess I'm Pentecostal. Judas hate when you're up there, do your offering. I'm the one gamble with his life for the fam. Do it for the ones that ain't get a second chance. Diamond shining, got your baby mama one glance. Man, my light too bright, get a suntan. Yeah, I treat the trap like the Oval Office. Everything presidential when you know I'm flossing. Getting money, my religion, guess I'm Pentecostal. Judas hate when you're up there, do your offering. I'm the one gamble with his life for the fam. Do it for the ones that ain't get a second chance. Diamond shining, got your baby mama one glance. Man, my light too bright. Spend my life under pressure, probably could've had a heart attack. Money bag, Hollis trap, I'm working on my cardiac. Never trust your man, dead do your bad. Full-time job plus a trapper and a dad. Fuck beef, I ain't really into that. I threw a pass at her, but a friend tried to intercept. Both wanna fight, hold on baby, let me interject. On the real fuck sex, I just need your intellect. Everything works out when the paper stretch. Pray to God when you broke, you came up, you praying less. Buy one, you fucked up, two or more, you're paying less. Run off on the plug, get you beat like Bangladesh. Yep, I'm at work, replace your order, nigga. It's winter time, but it's gonna be a scorching nigga. You ever met a unicorn believing horses, nigga? Or rode in the hoopty platin on some Porsches, nigga? Yep, I treat the trap like the Oval Office. Everything presidential when you know I'm flossing. Getting money, my religion, guess I'm Pentecostal. Judas hate when you're up there, do your offering. I'm the one gamble with his life for the fam. Do it for the ones that ain't get a second chance. Diamond shining, got your baby mama one glance. Man, my light too bright, get a suntan. Yeah, I treat the trap like the Oval Office. Everything presidential when you know I'm flossing. Getting money, my religion, guess I'm Pentecostal. Judas hate when you're up there, do your offering. I'm the one gamble with his life for the fam. Do it for the ones that ain't get a second chance. Diamond shining, got your baby mama one glance. Man, my light too bright, get a suntan. Yeah, move fast like Usain. And I got a new strap from the Ukraine. You ain't got no drip, boy, you too plain. My city, I'm the shit. Blue plains, ever seen a quarter piece on a new flame? Just caught my Georgia Peach out of blue flame. And she know I'm kicking shit. Luke Kane, face card in the hood worth two things. Been down on my ass, I know how to get it. 448 grams down on the digi. Club assets busted down for a million. Told Aaliyah at the bar, do say fuck the Henny. I'm down like that, tell Tony cut the fade. I'm a real bad surfer, probably die in the wave. Life in short, if I die, do the straight. Stop mentioning my name, nigga, that'll get you sprayed. Yeah, I treat the trap like the Oval Office. Everything presidential when you know I'm flossing. Getting money, my religion, guess I'm Pentecostal. Judas hate when you're up there, do your offering. I'm the one gamble with his life for the fam. Do it for the ones that ain't get a second chance. Diamond shining, got your baby mama one glance. Man, my light too bright, get a suntan. Yeah, I treat the trap like the Oval Office. Everything presidential when you know I'm flossing. Getting money, my religion, guess I'm Pentecostal. Judas hate when you're up there, do your offering. I'm the one gamble with his life for the fam. Do it for the ones that ain't get a second chance. Diamond shining, got your baby mama one glance. Man, my light too bright, get a suntan.
All right. There we go. So as you know, that's my boy, aka God King 427. I mean, do you got any plugs you want to throw out there real quick, Paul? I know your clothing line is Origami. What else you got out there?
Man, I got the clothing line Origami Couture. You can follow us on Instagram, Origami Couture LLC. I got the music on all platforms. That's the single right there, Oval Office. It's on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, wherever you can get music at, you can go check that out, free of charge. That's pretty much
free
it.
for now. It's free for now. You know what I'm
Yeah, it's
saying?
free for now.
Yesterday's price ain't today's price. Soon. That's soon to be. So make sure you get it now for free, because tomorrow it may not be that way. So, yeah, definitely shout out. So, I want to get that over with. Go ahead and let you get your plugs and all your good stuff so I can talk bad about you the rest of this time. But, I wanted people to know you actually actually do something besides being, a punching bag for me and Coach. So,
That's what's always nice to me.
What'd you say?
I just want to say Vance was always nice to me. I just want to say that. I
Yeah,
just
there we go, Paul.
I just want to put that out there. I just, you know,
Always took
uh,
care of you, brother.
yeah, thank you. Abuse is. Did y'all do a show on abuse yet? Because Rodney, you know, surviving the beast one is I got that coming out
Oh,
next month.
okay, yeah. All right. Heard, understood. But hold on, before we get into more stuff, we're gonna go ahead and do our Twitch mental health check-in because mental health is important. Boys, check in with your friend, check in with a therapist, check in with your doctor. Make sure that you always take time to evaluate yourself because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of nobody else. I'm gonna go ahead and go first because I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm still at a 10 from my vacation. My vacation was excellent. I've decided and chosen that I'm not going to let anything change my 10 right now. I'm good. I'm going to stay at a 10 no matter what's going on around me. I'm going to keep this energy and keep this vibe. And believe me, as soon as I stepped off the plane, the devil was at work. And you know what? I'm okay with it. And that's the biggest thing for me right now is I'm okay with it. Like there's nothing that can happen that I'm not going to allow to steal my joy. So I'm still at a 10. Everything's good. It's been busy. I'm excited about my son's track coming up. Track season's getting ready to really get in full swing, and I just ordered him his new track shoes and practice shoes and all the other kind of shoes that he needs for track. So I'm happy about that. My daughter is doing great in school. She's already planning for her summer college classes that she has to take. RJ, my oldest, has finally finished everything according to the military that he should be getting his shipping out date soon. He went into the Air Force. I don't know if you knew this, Paul, but he's in the Air Force. He got the score he needed to go into IT. So he's going to be doing IT in the Air Force as his job. So he had to do a bunch of other little stuff to get completely checked through. But he said as of Thursday, everything's done. He's just waiting on his date. So like I said, I'm keeping my 10, man. Life is good. I'm blessed as a person. And, I'm keeping my 10. How you feeling, Coach? Where you at?
I mean, this last week, I'm saying, I'm probably at like a 8. Had a pretty good week. A little physically tired. Just from the weekend and today. So had a lot of events planned through my wife's business over the last like week and a half. And it's not going to stop for probably to the end of May. So we're just rocking and rolling. So, excited that, she's flourishing in her business. And so forth. Got a chance to link with Matty Ice this weekend. So he supported one of the events over the weekend. So she had a community day event at a elementary school over in Suitland. Probably about 300 people showed up, which was really, really good. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the parents of the kids for that school came. There were a bunch of, county school executives and so forth at it too, and it's really successful. So it's just exhausting, you know what I mean? And then, roll right into, this week. So had an event tonight that we had to do, and man, it's just busy right now. So, and that's along with just the regular work stuff that I gotta do for my regular job. So that's all.
Well, when you start the business, busy is a good word.
It is.
But yeah, absolutely. I'm glad that everything's going good with Courtney. Shout out to Miss Courtney. But we're gonna go ahead and go to Crystal. I'm gonna let you go first because ladies first, beauty before whatever Paul is. We'll go ahead and let you go first and give your mental health check-in where you are from 0 to 10, what you're looking forward to this week, and things like that.
I too am on a 10. I just celebrated my 29th birthday yesterday.
Woo!
Yes, woo. So with May being Mental Health Awareness Month, I have decided before May got here to be very intentional about my mental health, to just set up things the way that I want them to look like, not to worry about what obstacles come my way, what adversities I have to get through, and just to know that the devil is always at great work, because to whom much is given, much is required. So I have decided to choose me first and my health. But I am coming off of a 10. I had a great week, and it's just going into the next week.
Excellent.
Good stuff.
Excellent. All right. What about you, Paul? Where you at?
Um, I'm doing well. I'm at about a 9.8.
Okay.
I just had a little fallout with my car and my key fob, so that's my point two away from a 10. That was my only wrinkle in my week. I had a good week. She celebrated her 29th birthday. She went out to the club. I stayed home. I got some peace and quiet, and I ate what I wanted to eat. I drank me a Corona for Cinco de Mayo. I mean, it's pretty good. I had a good week.
Okay. All right. Simple things. Sometimes those simple things matter, man.
The older you
Being
get, the more important they get.
absolutely. A little peace and quiet is something I definitely enjoyed and will enjoy even further. So, all right, let's get ready to get into this relationship conference. So, the relationship conference is something that's thrown annually at Elevate Church. You can definitely look at this church. We've talked about it before. They are part of the Africa, Kenya boys. What am I calling it? The Boys of Hope that we here at Dad Mentality donated to, and when we raised our Bitcoin money and things like that, and it's a seminar that I've gone to every year. Matter of fact, I was so anxious to go to it. If we hadn't went to Indonesia, I was definitely going to be there. And I mean, every year I've learned something. I think y'all had Dr. Preston again, right?
Yes,
Dr. Preston was the main
Preston
key
Williams.
speaker.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
Preston Williams.
yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, my first question, or thing I want to ask y'all was, before you even started going there, what was your expectations? What did you think it was going to be?
I guess I'll start. So when you hear marriage come from anything marriage and discussion, like whenever you hear marriage and the discussion around marriage, um, hopefully you think learning. Like that's the first word that came to my mind. Like, what am I going to learn? Like, I know I'm going to learn something because I know we've only been married a year, in a month, so 13 months on the 17th of
Okay.
May, and so
Congratulations, Crystal. I'm glad you made it that far. Go ahead.
Thank you.
so I just wanted to know like what I was going to learn. That was my expectations. Like I knew that going into this thing, I would learn something. And my thing is, what I really, to be completely transparent, is no matter how good of a job that she may say or the kids may say that I do or I may think that I do, I don't really think that, I hate to put it like this, that I'm that good of a husband. Like I don't think that I do I don't know enough about being a husband to say like it's not like rap. I've been rapping for teenage years. I've been, you know, being a man for a good period of time. But being a husband, I don't even know all of the fundamental things that come with that. So for me, I was going into it thinking that, you know, hey, I suck, but I'm going to get better. Like that was my whole mentality going into this thing. Like I might not be that good,
Mm,
but
Okay.
I'm gonna learn something that's gonna make me better. That was my expectations.
got it.
Okay. All right. And what about you, Crystal? What was your expectations?
I didn't go into it with expectations, because I didn't want to set too many high standards. But what I did know is that they were going to incorporate God back into marriage. I know a lot of marriages are just weddings. So just having God as our focal point, and I was just excited to hear how all the other like-minded couples, either how long they've been married, how long they've been together, and just seeing how to tie God into the cord of the marriage. So that was my only expectation.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So now you get there. Tell me about day one. How did it start off for y'all?
First of all, in Paul and Crystal fashion, we missed the mixer. We missed we got there for exactly on time for session one.
Okay.
So we were supposed to get there at 5 o'clock. Um, because I decided to, with this bright genius idea, Rodney, that I've been coming up with my whole life.
Mhm.
I decided to not take off work that Thursday. So I know if she met me at my job, we left straight from there. And first, how about this? First lesson I learned, listen to your wife. So we getting ready to leave, and she's like, we're getting ready to get into traffic. And I'm like, baby, it's 2 o'clock. It's not rush hour anywhere at 2 o'clock. We're fine. I take the shortest route on the GPS, takes us through Baltimore. Orioles are playing the Yankees. We're in traffic.
You went through downtown?
Yes.
Or you was wilding?
Yes. Went through downtown Baltimore.
Yeah, you was wilding.
But it might have told him that because the bridge ain't there no more.
Yeah, but
might
I
have
mean,
told him to go through
95.
downtown.
Y'all were in Philly, right?
Yeah. But we could have went, Rodney, we could have went 95 the whole way.
You don't go through the city.
Yeah.
Listen, I work on Riggs Road Northeast. So she parked the car at my job. We jump on there. They gave me like 5 different options. Waze always give you like 3 to 4 different options, which way you want to take. If you read a little bit, you'll be fine. I didn't. I read the amount of time. I took the shortest route. We left DC at 2:10, 2:15. We didn't get to Philly until 7 o'clock.
Wow. Okay.
So we get there. That's day one. We walk right in on we see Miss Dorsey, Pastor Dorsey's wife. We walk right in. She meets us in the lobby. She takes us to session one. And so
what
you
just
can
happened?
still hear you. His camera just went
Yeah,
off.
I can hear you. I don't know what just happened. My camera just got unplugged.
yeah,
All right.
you know sometimes
Go ahead.
it has an ugly limit. So me and you on here at the same time, it ain't gonna work.
It's all right. It's a new camera. It's all right. I'm here though. I'm about to switch cameras. Go ahead. I'm
Yeah,
listening.
so we get there, session one. First word they teach us, soon as we walk in the door, hey fellas, y'all gonna like this? Submit. That's the first thing we get to. So I'm on a high day
Depends
one.
on if you know what it means.
It definitely depends on if you know what it means. It definitely depends on if you know what it means. So, Dr. Preston goes through he goes through both sides. He goes through the submission side for the ladies, and he goes through what we need to do as men to allow them to submit, to be able to contribute to their vulnerability. So, and to make them comfortable in it. And so, after it was over, I'll let her tell you her side, but after it was over, you know, I did a little exercise, Vance. This is how you know if your wife learned anything. I told her, I said, what was the word for the day? What was the word for that day? Submit. SUMMITT. What you say? What you say? What did you say?
That's not submit.
That's not submit? I told her she didn't learn nothing. She didn't learn anything.
I ain't learned nothing.
Ain't learned nothing.
From the first word that she heard, she just that she tuned out, huh?
Yeah, but no, and all jokes aside, like the first day, actually was the most informative day. It was the most informative day because each day after was a piggyback off of the first day. So the first day lets you know what marriage was, like what it is, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and then the next 2 days was the functions of like the acting out, the actually putting what the Bible says into action.
Yeah.
So that was my first day. Was great. It was a great first day. We still working on that submit thing, but you know.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, you know what? Let me tell you something. Submit is first of all, it's a strong word, in my opinion. And I mean because it takes a lot. So I've dealt with submission, that conversation. And the biggest thing that I learned, and I'm just throwing this out there, I don't even know what they said there. You know what? I'll let Crystal go first. You know, I'm sorry, Crystal, but go ahead. You go first and tell me what you got out of that first day, and then we can just talk about submission real quick.
Yeah, the first day was kind of like the first starter. It was very relaxed. No, I'm okay. It was very relaxed. It really was just for me. It was just taking the umbrella off of marriage. I'm a type of person where I don't want any other people to know what's going on in my personal life. I don't like to be on Front Street. I'm not very transparent with the world. So for me, it was just going into it and hearing the word submit. It was just like, okay. And then at that moment, I was just like, all right, I surrender. Like, God, I surrender to you. I'll surrender to my husband today in this moment. And then just to take off the ease or the tension of whatever I thought I was going into the conference with. So it was like a good hour session. We were late, but we were right on time. Soon as we
Yeah.
got in there, the word and the message, it just kind of spoke to my relationship. So I was really excited. I was excited to meet the other couples. It seems like anywhere I go, whenever I'm standoffish, that's when God just allows others to come up to me. And they were coming up to us. They were, giving us their opinions. We got a lot of what would be the word? We got a lot of praise for just us being ourselves. So day one was a really good start. We were excited. And it made me go into day two. And then when we get to day two, I'll talk about day two. Because day two was my most influential day. I learned the
Okay.
most in day
Do me a
two.
favor, slide the camera back over a little bit because it's tilted somewhere. There we go. All right. Okay. So submit. Now that's a strong word in my opinion, and I think Coach will probably agree with me on this, but I felt like the key to submitting is creating a safe place for that person to feel okay with submitting. You know, in the crazy thing that I hate that people do is that they act like that same safe place doesn't go for both people in a relationship.
Amen.
So just like, Crystal, you want a safe place for your husband, you also have to you want a safe place for you with your husband. You also have to create that same safe place for him. And it really worked. But the thing about it is, in order, you can't do that. You can't get into your own safe place, in my opinion. This is only my opinion. You can't get into your own safe place until you create that safe place for the other person. Because if you're sitting there and you're like, oh, I don't feel secure. This ain't this ain't that. This ain't this. That security is your own definition of security. So in other words, like, there's nothing I really can do to make my wife feel secure until she decides that she's going to allow herself to feel secure. If you understand what I'm saying.
Understood.
Because in Coach, what do you think? You understand what I'm saying? What do you think about that?
About submit and safe
Yeah.
place. I mean, see, when it comes to submission, and a lot of people kind of miss the message of submission when it comes to the Bible. Like, everybody always focuses on wives submit to your husband. Like, that's what you always hear, right? But what they don't understand is that in order for a wife to submit to her husband, the husband must submit to God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
The wife is not going to submit to a husband that's not following God. It just ain't going to happen. Right?
Okay, I
You know
hear
what
you.
I mean?
I hear you. I kind of got a little different. I understand exactly what you're saying, but my thing is this: still, it's not. it's not her place. It's not her place to judge
This,
that.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I did, but it's not. It's also not the husband's place to judge the wife's submission, right? See, you know what I'm saying. The husband is the head, right? And you know what I'm saying, the head of the family. And if he submits to God, the rest will fall into proper line, right? So when he doesn't submit to God, then everything else below him does not fall in line in his house, right? So oftentimes we are expecting as husbands for our wives to follow us when we're not following God.
Go ahead, Paul. This is a conversation.
All right, so Vance, I kind of got a different perspective, and I'll go scriptural on you, and I'll go to Job.
Mm-hmm.
Job was in complete submission.
He was.
His wife was the complete opposite.
You're right.
So and I'm not saying that. I'm saying the way you're saying it is how it should be.
Yeah,
So
Job was also being challenged too. Like directly challenged. The devil went to God and said, I bet you I could get Job to fall. And he went through his wife to try to make him fall. Yeah. And Job didn't fall.
He did not.
Who else failed? Everybody else failed. Because everybody else died, everybody else went away.
If he's doing it, which call everything behind everybody below him is going to follow.
But here's the thing. I know. So understand. I didn't say it was guaranteed to follow. What I'm saying is,
I felt like you was guaranteed it.
Yeah, no, that's what I felt like.
What the question was is we want our wives to submit, right? And what I said is your wife will not submit in the manner of what you think she will submit if you are not submitted to God. It doesn't mean that she's going to submit at all, but you won't even be able to accomplish what you guys think submission is.
You can't do it without step one. And step one.
You can't do it without step one. It don't matter. I ain't saying step 3, 4, 5 gonna happen, but you can't do it without step one.
I'll go here though, Coach. There. If I had, what, you got your phone with you? It's a scripture. It's a scripture that says for wives to follow their husbands, even in the event that their husbands aren't following God.
It says, husband, love your wives. Wives, honor your husband. Yeah, the wife doesn't even have to love her husband. She has to honor him. And she doesn't even have to love you as a wife. All she has to do is honor you.
No, I get that, but I'm
hold on, Paul. Let Crystal talk. She raised her hand. Let her talk real quick.
Yeah, I'll just take it this way. So, submission when we hear submission, it's a big thing because it's total surrenderance, not just to our husbands. Because I'll say personally, and this is me, breaking a generational curse and getting out of my own habits of saying I'm going to put my life on Front Street, something that I never do. I had my first year, it was completely a challenge for me to submit to Paul. And I think in my childhood, it's surrendering and submitting to authority. So he is the authoritative figure in our household. But I found challenge because I wasn't completely submitting to God first. I had the same thought as Vance, like, well, Paul, you're not submitting to God. You're not following this. So I can't, when in reality, God was telling me, don't worry about what he's doing, my daughter. Like, you continue to submit to your husband, because if he's leading you in a path or down a road that he's not supposed to lead you, then I will deal with him. But you can't make your own path. You don't just say, oh, he's not submitting to God, so I won't submit to him, because then I would be disobedient.
Agree.
So I had to learn that. And then in my life, I didn't really have an example of what complete submission from women were. So I'm doing something of the first. So I didn't know how to submit. I didn't even know what submission looks like in that. I'm thinking, or at least me as a woman, when I think submit, I'm thinking in a small manner. Like I'll submit in certain areas, but not in the totality of the word submission. So it wasn't until maybe I was probably 2 weeks shy of my first year anniversary where I decided I was going to make, okay, where I decided I was going to say, you know what? No matter how he acts, no matter what he says, no matter what he does, right or wrong or indifferent, I'm going to submit. So when he says like I'm telling him, honey, it's rush hour traffic. We shouldn't go this way. He takes the lead, like, no, it's not going to be traffic. We're going to go this way. So I submitted to it. I drive away because I'm driving to the conference. I drive, we get into traffic. It wasn't until maybe we're almost getting close as he see the GPS getting further and further along. Then he says, honey, I should have listened to you. It was this. But for me, I got the small compliment or satisfaction out of, even though I didn't disobey him and say, Paul, look at the GPS, look at this, and start an argument. I just did and follow his lead. Follow his lead. And then later on, he came back to give me the satisfaction saying, okay, I should have listened. This was okay. But even God, we still got there on time. So for me, it was like, okay, God, I submitted not just to you, but I submitted to your son. And then I'm up under him. He's under you. You're going to take care of the rest. So we end up not getting
Woman, you
late
gonna
to
do
the
what I tell
conference
you.
at all.
There you go. Right there. There you go.
And
That's why
even
they don't
with that,
submit right
even
there.
in my
Mhm.
year
Like
of that, I
right
had to learn.
right there. You took 3 steps
Absolutely.
And
back.
Paul is a
Just
very
the
he's
next
a
time she
very
gonna say we
bold
not driving
soul.
that way.
He's a very bold
Amen.
person. His even his family, like where the family that he's comes from, they kind of like they pay him no attention. They's like, this is how Paul is, like, ain't nobody worry about him. Only you listen to him. So then I had to start so I had to start to learn who he was and know that even though he's bold and he may be confrontational, he doesn't mean no harm. And the more that I give him pull is the more he's going to push back. And I don't, like Rodney has said, I don't want to push back because I do want to show him and create, like, you have the freedom in this relationship to be your bold big self, but I'm just going to create a space where you feel like you can be you. I don't want to take away from him. So I have to learn that even though he's just this big bold guy, that he's also in his heart, he's really really small and he's really vulnerable. So I just have to nourish that. So the submission part was me on a bigger person level, just to kind of be like, okay, I don't have to wrestle with him in the flesh, but in the spirit, just submit, just do it, and everything else will follow.
She said all that just to say, woman, you gonna do what
No,
I
I
tell you.
said what I said.
That's what you gonna do. Nah, but I went and got my notes, y'all. So
All
I
right.
can really give you,
No,
some things
no.
I wrote down, like some thoughts on every day I wrote down some different type of thoughts.
Talk
And
to
as
us.
y'all ask the
Yeah.
questions, like if you want me to, just jump into something, I will, but I was gonna wait till you ask the questions, but I wanted to get my exact thoughts in the moment, and I just went and got my notes to make
Well,
sure.
go ahead. Let's hear some of them. I'm
Let's hear
interested.
some. Let's hear this everything
Yeah,
about.
just make sure they smart because you know we're gonna fry you if you come up and be like, oh, I thought,
Nah, so
I
I will
thought
say
if
this. My biggest misconception, and Rodney, you can attest to this, Vance, you can attest to this. The men that were in position of leadership in our families when we were growing up, they all had a handful of similarities. They all provided, they all protected, and of course they were married, and you know they all commanded a certain level of respect from their not just their spouses but from their children, their families. They commanded this thing. It oozed out of them. It's like almost like I know Rodney's dad. I know my grandfather on both sides. My dad. These are all Carolina men. These men are all from the Carolinas. They came up, made a way for themselves, made a way for their families, and by the time so my number one marriage is my grandparents. They were married for 62 years before my grandfather perished. Um Rodney's a little older, so he may be able to say something different. But by the time I was born, they had already been married 30 years.
Mm.
They were 50 something.
Yeah.
So listen, grandma did a lot of squawking. Like, granddad was really quiet, really mild mannered. But wherever he put his hand down at, whether it was the table, the bar, the couch arm, that was the end of said dispute.
Yeah.
That's how it went.
I get it.
You know what I mean, Rodney? It was like,
Yeah.
damn it, sister, I done had it. That's my grandmother nickname. Sister, that's it. That's how, that was it. Wasn't like 2024 husband, shut the fuck up and go sit down, leave me alone. Like, it wasn't that. It was just, that's
the end of
it.
the conversation.
That's the end of the conversation. I heard you. No disrespect to you, but that's it.
Yeah.
So I was tricked into marriage, not tricked into marriage, but I was tricked into seeing a older couple's marriage already working smoothly. They were already working out. They already had worked out their grooves. So I thought, hey,
you thought that's how you can walk right into it, huh?
Yeah, long as I go to work, I bring home the money. You know, I provide a household. Pay the bills. Make sure nobody bothers her. We'll get into that part of protection in a second. Because that's another thing that I learned. But as long as I do my fundamental duties as a man, I'm straight. And I'm here to tell anybody who's watching, please don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe.
Yeah, it's not.
That's one thing a lot of people talk about nowadays is that what is that fundamental? What is the thing that creates and builds and makes a stable relationship? And it don't matter. A lot of people think, oh, as long as I provide, as long as I make money, as long as I do that, they're judged basically on that. A lot of relationships are based solely on that, not even the rest of the things. But to have a real successful marriage, it don't really got nothing to do with money. You know what I'm saying? Because you can provide in so many different ways besides cash. You know what I'm saying?
One of the key things that I learned, it's only valuable if it's valued by her. So each wife we'll call them case studies. Each case has a specific set of requirements for said woman. So you may have a woman who makes $200,000 a year. Providing just ain't what she needs you to do, nigga. This ain't it.
Yeah, that's like, what it is.
She does not. That is not.
That's not held, that has no value to her.
Yeah, it's not in her what women call love language. It's not in her love language. You're not speaking to her just because you bring your check in and she don't have to spend hers because she got plenty of it if she need to. Right. So that's not. It's each woman is case specific. Each relationship is case specific. So you really have to have conversations to find out you have to find the balance between what God says and what your woman wants, as long as it doesn't conflict with what God says. So God says for us to protect and provide, but God does not say that they have to appreciate or they have to reward you for your protection and provision. He doesn't say that. He just says, Negro, this is your job that I'm telling you to do. Don't worry about her. And one of the things in my marriage that I worked hard because that's what I seen. My Uncle David, my grandfather, my father, all these men went out and worked. I mean, real hard labor, like not just, no offense to anybody that worked from home from a computer or anything like that. But Rodney will tell you our fathers came home dirty every day. That is something that you can't. It was no way around it. They went out, they worked hard every day. They provided every day. So I thought that I would have an easy marriage. It would be easy going if that's the way I approached it. And absolutely, is this PG-13 or is this?
I mean,
I,
we just go with the flow. Whatever happens, happens. Whatever said is said. Now, I can tell you it's
absolutely
not,
effing not.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, well,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, cool.
the thing about it is you emulate what you saw, right, and what you know. I mean, that make you, you know what I'm saying, a bad husband. It just means that you got those values already instilled in you. So now you got to add to the values that you need to bring into your marriage. A lot of people think that it's going above and beyond, but all it is adjusting.
All it is still dating the person you love. I
Yeah.
mean, you have to date her because, I mean, guess what? And I'm be honest with you, she's going to change. Those same values are going to change. And me and Vicky, we talk about it. We feel that every 10 years we change. We're not the same person we was, and we have to redate each other constantly. You constantly have to redate that person because even as you, like you say, she grows in her career, she grows in making money. Now money's not valuable anymore because she makes money. You know what I'm saying? Now as she gets older, it's stability. It's it's peace. It could be so many different things that change. And even you, Paul, are going to change within the next 10 years or whatever. And something that may have been valuable to you at 16 is not the same value to you now. You know what I'm saying? And all those things have to do with you have to continuously date. You have to continuously learn that person, study that person. You have to become your wife's biggest student, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Because we're all learning and we're all changing and we're all evolving. So I mean, it's definitely important what you're saying. So let's go to, all right. So first day was submit.
Yes.
Second day was there a word of the day or a thing of the week or
No. So this is just what we started with. The first day was submission.
okay.
The second thing in the first day was most people think love, just see love as an emotion. But the way Dr. Preston broke it down, and this is something that I knew going in, I didn't learn this in the conference, but it's good to see somebody who's old or older. Sorry, Dr. Preston, older, give you confirmation and grounded in the word that give you confirmation on something that you think you know.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the second thing we learned is love is not just a feeling, it is an action. And the action of love, even as it pertains to the Bible, is sacrifice. Like everybody who God called and said they love God, he required sacrifice, even from his own son, even from him sacrificing his own son, even from his own son sacrificing for him. Even like you can go down the line of the hierarchy of our religion, which is Christianity, and you'll see consistent, constant sacrifice. So that was one of the things that Dr. Preston. I don't want to give you too much because I really encourage people to go. Like that's, I'm a part of the cool crowd, I guess. Then. And I went, like I enjoyed it thoroughly. Um, but we learned about um cognitive intellectual theology. And all that is what you think, your mind. And then we also learned about vascular emotional theology. And these are, anytime you're dealing with vascular, that's your heart. So these are your feelings in your heart. So he was breaking down the word love to show you how you sacrifice and to understanding your partner so you know what to sacrifice. So see, like you can be an idiot like me, right? You can go to work two jobs. So for the most part of our marriage, I've worked 80 hours a week. Two jobs, 6 to 2, 3 to 11. Okay. And I think I was coming home. Only person come to the damn door is the dog and the boy.
Okay.
I done worked 16 hours. I come home, dog wagging his tail, boy ready to hug me. If my daughter's here, she upstairs. She with the mother. Like they are. So I'm like, I'm developing this. This it's causing a little tension. I'm to the point where I'm like, damn it, look, what's up? Like I'm going to work every day. I'm busting my hind parts. I'm doing, what I think is right as a husband, and she's just like, she's not saying this verbally, but she's saying this with her action. She's like, okay.
Yeah, that's nothing. That's what A is what you're supposed to do, but B is still they ain't.
So
Woohoo!
another 90 days of being mad at that, Rodney. I'm pissed for 90 days.
Well, whose fault is that? That's your fault. That ain't got
But
nothing to do
listen,
with her.
before I ask the magical question in my own self, I'm like, well, what can I do? How do you know? Like what? Like I had to ask her, like, what can I do to make you feel loved, so that when I do what I do, I feel loved,
Okay.
or I feel respected.
All right. And what answer did you get? I'm just curious.
So this little beautiful thing here, she requires time.
Nothing's wrong with that.
She is, and it's not just because we all spend 8 hours at home.
Here's the next question, Paul, and I want you to answer this. Why? Why does she require time?
You see if we got that one.
Okay. May I answer that? Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is where psychology comes into play. Her dad worked how I work.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. He also was a football coach. So when he wasn't working, he's coaching. Mm-hmm. So that took up a lot of his time. Mm-hmm. So when she seen how I work, and for the better part of our marriage, I was coaching. I was a flag football coach. I'm undefeated as a coach. As a head coach, I'm undefeated. Just by the way, Maryland Elite, Vance, mind your business. Maryland Elite. I went undefeated as a head coach. But she started to see her husband, the new man that she loved, slip into that same groove that she seen her father in. This is what I believe in. By our marriage getting better, I know I'm confirmed. So I had to really realize, like, so what I would do. This is how I know I'm retarded. Okay, and anybody watching, I'm not making fun of anybody mentally challenged. I'm just saying I'm one of them. And the reason why I know that is because I would do dumb stuff, like I would not have a game, not have to work, and I would go out. So now when I got the time,
can't do that. I coached for 15 years. Can't do that.
Vance, I had to learn the hard way.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, I did too.
So she started to say, like, and believe you me, as beautiful as you see her here sitting here today, it's not as pleasant as she looks when she says this. When she started, I might have been everything but a child of God.
Yeah, well,
but she started to tell me, like, Paul, honey, baby, you don't have a lot of time, but you do have these 2-3 days every week. I need those.
Mm-hmm. And did you listen?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Listen. I'm finding my balance. That's what I can say. I'm finding my balance, and because a lot of times we as coaches, or we as men, or whatever you do for a living, you just want to go somewhere separate from you want your own peace. So even when I was going out by myself. I wasn't going out with people. I'm going out by myself just so I can release the fact that I've been at work 80 hours, sometimes 90 hours, 100 hours out of the week. And I'm not making these numbers are real. Like some days I worked every day 16 hours a day. When Sunday to Sunday, 16 straight. Some of these days I did that so that I could have 3-4 days off. But when I was getting my 3-4 days off, I might as well have been at work.
Yeah, in her eyes.
In her
In her
eyes.
eyes, yeah, 100%.
So
There's nothing different. You were
I
still
had to
gone.
learn from
You were
that.
still
That's when
not
the
there. Yeah,
sacrifice
I
come in.
got you.
The
All right, so
sacrifice.
now I want to go to Crystal real quick. A, because I want to talk about your day 2, because you said it was the most influential day for you. And then B, go ahead and just tell us about your day 2 and
Well,
why
day
was it?
two, yeah. Well, first it was informal, and that's anything for me because I personally like to think that I like to know everything, but I just analyze details very well. So in certain aspects, I'll say, "Oh, I already knew that because I already paid attention." But day two, it did talk about sacrifice, and not just sacrifice from your husband, because that's something in my first year. I just wanted him to sacrifice so much of his time, so much as his normal habits that I didn't relate that back to me. Like sometimes you have to sacrifice your time. You have to sacrifice your days at home alone. Like you have to, it's certain things that you have to put in if you are requiring somebody else to sacrifice for you. And like I said, Paul is a very bold soul. So for him, sometimes he needs to see the sacrifice before he could give the sacrifice. And I didn't like that. I'm like, no, you should sacrifice first and then out. But it was like, okay, either way, I'm just throwing in the towel. I wanted to sacrifice. So they talked on a lot of things. When they spoke on cognitive intelligence theology and then vascular emotional theology, all things I'm no stranger of because I study psychology. So it hit home. It was like, okay, there's a difference between my mind thinking one thing and my heart wanting another. But sometimes the heart is deceptive. Like you have to, I'm a very emotional person and I'm emotionally led. And that's not always the best. Because I may feel this way today, but then over time I'll think about it and it's like, okay, well, that's not really logical or that's not really fair. So it just broke that down to me in so many ways, just to say, okay, you have to sacrifice to get sacrifice. And sometimes your sacrifice takes a while before somebody else sacrifices for you. And just maybe in the last, what, 3, 4 weeks, I learned the epitome of what that actually means because I just woke up one day and was just like, all right, no more. Like, I'm tired of being emotionally led. I'm tired of being upset because, like he said, he would work, he would go out, but I would be the only one that's upset. And then my attitude or my sadness, because I like to say my anger is just a bodyguard for my sadness. I'm not really angry, but I'm so sad that I will put on this angry streak to block out how my heart really feels. But it was a work in progress. So I just decided, okay, you know what? Woke up one day and said, you know what? I'm just going to set the tone. I'm going to respond the way I want him to respond. Even if he's over the top, I'm going to try to remain pleasant. I'm going to try to work through different kinks and then I'll see how that works. And it worked a miracle because in 3, 4 weeks, he's changed, not just overall, but just how he responds to certain things. So for me, it was like, oh, okay, God, like you were right. If I did do this, it would throw in. So day two was literally that. It was just saying it's okay for me. It wasn't telling me that my feelings were wrong. It was just saying they can't make the ultimate decision. Sometimes you have to, and if you love someone, then you will sacrifice your unhappiness for a moment. Because I've learned in my marriage is not about happiness. It's about holiness. It's about what's appealing to God. You're trying to embody what God is, not what Crystal thinks that her marriage should look like or what the ideal couple goals or married goals are. So they too went right into that. Like, put your feelings to the side, put your head first, think about what God is saying, and read in my word. That's another thing that I'm not very educated in. I don't know my Bible as much as I should, but that's because I have to open it. I have to read it. I have to know my scriptural references. And in times of trouble, because that's what the devil does. And all those times alone or being at home alone, that's when the devil works his best because now you're isolated. Now your husband's not here. Now he can't protect your thoughts. So now I'm going to feed things into your mind and your feelings. He already knows. All the devil have to do is plant a seed into my head or make me second guess a thought. And then my heart will lead the rest. Which is why Eve is my favorite person in the Bible because she was the first person to be deceived. I think Eve is my homegirl. I think even though, she was the first person to be tricked, I understand why she was tricked. She just didn't know enough. And instead of her figuring out or trusting or being secure in what God said, she allowed a thought to make her open up because it wasn't that the thought was wrong. It just, God's word was final. He said, do not eat from this tree or you should surely die.
He didn't tell her that.
You told Adam.
So
He
that-
told
Well, he told Adam that. But
Yeah.
overhearing or knowing what Adam said, all the devil had to do was just place something. Well, God said it just made you second guess and go into a world of doubts. It
nah,
was
I
like, well,
got
maybe.
And also a bigger. I hate to. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Mhm. No, you can.
A bigger thing is that you should notice about Adam and Eve is the devil went to Eve, the wife, to get to Adam.
no.
Things I know.
And
I
I-
have a book. It's called Woman's Evolve. It's by Sarah Jake Roberts.
Mhm.
It's a very great book. She goes into the whole story of that. But that's when I became more self-aware that the devil really, he don't, I'm not saying he don't care about me. He care about the anointing that I have, but he's not trying to get to me. He knows I can use you to get to your husband. So if you're upset, if you're frustrated, if I plant things into you, you're naturally going to take him out. You're naturally going to change his temperature. You're going to change his thoughts. You're going to change his dynamics. And then once he's in this whirlwind of not in alignment, it's easy for me to strike him. And that's what I was learning. So at home, I spent a lot of time of just meaningless time. I wasn't doing anything I didn't have any business, which I would say, like, I wasn't practicing my word. I wasn't adding value to things. I was just sitting around really just waiting, like, oh, okay, well, what time is like Paul could tell you, I can tell him every time he came home. I know what time it was. I know what the day was. I know what he had on. And it was just things that just wasn't healthy, because in reality, him doing what he needed to do for his own ultimate peace, it may not have been correct according to me, but it's what he did. And instead of me filling my mind or thoughts with healthy things and securing what God said in my word, I was too busy worrying about or doubting the
Yeah.
fact of what's going on. That it made it very easy for him to walk into hell.
Well,
Oh,
here's something I noticed you said during the conversation. I just want to bring it to light a little bit, just to see if you feel the way that I feel or understand what I'm saying about this. The one thing that I took from this is that you decided to change. Now, you said that Paul changed, and I hate to, and this is the part I kind of want to bring to your attention. Paul didn't change. You did. You decided and made that decision, and you changed, and things changed because of that. But I never want people to get in that mindset of the other person changed, because the only person that can change is you. You changed. You can only control you. And Paul decided to react differently, or whatever the case may be. But the only change he did is the change he decided to make. So nothing you did changed him. You got what I'm saying? The
Right,
thing
I
that
can agree.
changed in the thing was you. And it takes that real, and I love it, because I always tell people that it got to start with you, no matter what it is in this relationship. It has to start with you. So, and you did that right thing, which was, it started with you. You decided to do different. It takes, the only thing I'm gonna keep on saying is what it took for me is to do different is you still have to pray. You still have to take that time, and I'm just not saying this for you. I'm just saying it in general, because this is something that I learned that I have to do regularly. Because if you don't have that conversation with God and build that relationship with Him, also, you're destined to fall back in that same trap. You know what I'm saying? The devil's traps aren't different. You actually normally you fall for the same damn trap every damn time. You know what I'm saying? So there's no secrets out here to what the devil does.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I
can agree.
But the
I
great
can
thing,
agree.
I take, I just want you to take personally out of this is that you changed. You decided to change, and you changed, and then you didn't allow those old tricks to still work. You know what I'm saying? And that falls for you. And then Paul, whatever change that he did because he decided to change. It's all on you. It really is. On both sides of that aspect. And like I said when I started in the beginning, is like you have to create that safety in order for that other person to feel safe. And then once you create that safety, then typically they will create that safety too because they feel safe. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it takes that one person in that relationship to create that safety first. And then the other person's like, oh, okay, well, you know, what you call it, but trust me, it's tough, man, to keep it going.
It
You
is.
gotta
And I
pray.
will say that to anybody that's listening, it really took for, like, personally, I know everybody has their own different thoughts and different relationships and different situations. But for me, it literally was that thought, like, okay, the devil is using my heart in so many ways that it's bad. And I'm tired of showing up as the same person. And then also I had to make a decision to say that if nothing ever changed in my relationship, or if it got to the worst of the worst, I was going to change, because I wasn't going to me. I'm not going to live in misery. So if
Yeah.
I don't like something that you're doing, then I'm going to change how I feel about it. Not necessarily my feeling of it, but how do I respond when you do this that will put me into a closet of worry, or a closet of doubt, or insecurities, or all of these other things. And then one, like you said, I just decided, like, you know what? I can't live like this.
Yeah.
I don't want to live like this. So, and then the prayer too, because I know I can't change Paul. Only God can change the heart of a man. And that was for me too. So I just had to constantly pray, like, God, just change my heart posture to how I feel towards this. Allow me to be so reliant on you that day to day, I don't have to worry or think about anything that anybody else is doing. I just want to focus on me, because there are things inwardly, like I look outwardly, but inwardly, I have a whole lot of work to be done. So I'm sitting around while Paul working his 80 hours. I could have
Working on
been putting
yourself.
in work to do
Yeah.
things on me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right.
Amen.
So what we going we going for day 3, right? Well, so we got you still got more on day 2?
No, day two, we kind of, because me and Paul are how we are, like, we're very private, not just with the world, just how we are. Like, everybody else is sitting at tables, they're mingling, and for
Yeah,
us,
yeah.
we like, we came here to complete an assignment. So
Yeah,
as
yeah.
we were listening to Dr. Preston talk, and we both writing our notes, we're kind of having side conversations within each other, to be like, oh yeah, da, da. So we were like, just, and basking in our love. And a lot of people came up to us day two. Dr. Preston's wife, Kathy, she came up to us. She actually took an off guard picture of us, just kind of invested in the word, but more so me, I was just leaning with Paul, just listening. And they were like, we were very transparent and open with our truths of our marriage. A lot of people will give you the honeymoon phase of marriage, and it just sets you up. And even though we asked for so much advice, nothing prepared us for what we were going to go through in year one. So we got like a lot of people coming up to us saying, thank you for the transparency. Like, we see that you guys are open. They said that we were like the power couple. And we like, wow, we came in here thinking we were the worst. We were worse off. We were the worst ones. So
I knew I had the worst wife in history.
Nah, hey dog, like that's the thing. That is power in and of itself. Like when you're around other godly couples, you know what I mean, and other couples in general, that whether they're godly couples or not, bro, you really learn to appreciate the person that's in that journey with you. You know what I mean? Because there's some issue. You always think that you're the worst off, and you realize that it could be way worse.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I had a conversation with my wife probably about a week ago. She was like, man, you see all these wives taking these pictures and putting them on Instagram and all of this, nothing vulgar, but just doing the dances and showing off bodies. And I said, I would lose my everlasting mind. You know what I mean? I know I married the right one. Not saying that it is right, wrong, or indifferent, that's their marriage, right? You know what I mean? But it's just like if you once you're equally yoked, you know what I mean, and you're on the same page, like you may think things are bad, but there's always people going through things on a consistent basis with marriage. You know what I mean? What was that saying, Roddy? Jamie Foxx said, you can throw away your problems if you're willing to pick somebody else's up.
Yeah.
Think about that. You can lay down all your problems on the ground but you got to pick somebody else's problems up. You might just want to keep your own
You
problems.
just might want to keep your problems. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want nobody else's problems. Them joints be you pick up some shit you ain't even thought about. Like what?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You'll pick up something you ain't even thought about. All right, so let's go to day 3. What happened day 3, or is there anything else that?
Hey, look, I bet Paul followed the directions that she gave him home. I bet you that. You know
He drove home.
Yeah, I drove home. Well, we didn't even go. So we ended up not going straight home. We ended up going deeper into Pennsylvania. We went to the Poconos.
No,
Okay.
Yeah, so we stayed up there for an extra day and some change, and but day three was short. Day 3 was the shortest day, in terms of learning, and it was for me. Day 1 was the most informative. Day 3 was my favorite day because day 3 we actually got to break away from couples. We went as men and talked as men, and you know, you got husbands in there looking around like, all right, hey, you sure y'all ain't recording? Y'all, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause I got some real questions in here. So we get down to the nitty gritty now, just as men. Like we got Mr. Dorsey in there, we got Pastor Dorsey, and we got Dr. Preston in there. So they're leading the discussion, but really it was just like a Q&R, and it was like, you know, like you could really see the realness of Mr. Dorsey and Mr. Williams, because the first question we that was asked when we got in there was, "Hey, y'all ever stepped out on y'all wives? And what do you see these 2 grown men just instantly go to fear? Like, no, never." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was a real thing. Like, that's a real. So I'm like, oh shoot, like I'm not the only person that has like a healthy fear for their wife. Like it's like I'm not alone in that. I don't have to be ashamed of that. And then, I started getting into my own, like I was able to speak out. So one of the things that I can say that me and Crystal do that I don't know if a lot of married people practice it, but I think they should. We have trauma conversations just based on our life, childhood trauma, or the trauma up until we met each other. Like everything that has gone on in my life from birth to me meeting Crystal, she knows about it. And not only that, she knows how it affects my thinking and vice versa. So if she went through something in her childhood, I know about it and I know how it affects her thinking. So I can move around a little bit better than a person that didn't know. I can make less mistakes because I know if I do certain things, she's going to view it a certain way, and it's going to be worse than what I intended. So I was able to, when we broke away as men, I was able to talk to all the first thing. Day 3, I did not. One thing I never thought that I would be able to do up here was give advice. I thought I was coming up there to strictly get advice. Like I said, I did not know it was people worse off than me. And I'm speaking outside of my marriage. I'm speaking me as an individual, like coming into marriage. I didn't think nobody had the flaws that I had. I didn't think, or as many flaws as I had. I didn't think like the amount of women that I was dealing with, if you
was
had,
Mr. Dorsey's son there?
Yeah,
no.
Eric was there. Eric wasn't there?
No.
Eric wasn't there?
No.
Little Eric and his wife, they always go.
No, I don't think little Eric was there.
His wife is Patricia. No? All right. Well, you would know. You would know. You would know if he was there. Yeah, you would know.
He's short, glasses?
Nah, he bigger than Mr. Dorsey.
Oh, nah, he wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
Nah, he wasn't there.
Go ahead.
I'm about to say, that's right there alone. I could tell.
Yeah, you and him would have been sitting beside each other, raising your hands together.
But
asking the same questions. But go ahead.
So I'll say this: if you dealt with a multitude of women, dealing with one becomes irritating.
Okay, that's interesting.
I'll say this in a sense of, if there's anybody out here that had multiple women, but you have, if you want to call it your favorite, your main, your whatever it is, when you deal with multiple women, you don't really deal with the worst of either one of them.
Yeah.
When you deal with one woman, you absolutely are going to encounter the worst her that you can possibly be around. And that shit is fucking irritating. Because you're not around multiple, you don't have enough time. It's not enough time in a day to be around a woman. And if you're dating 6, 7 women at a time, it's not enough time for her to get to her to do the things that are going to irritate you.
Be the worst, because you be going
anyway. You won't never see the worst.
You won't never see it.
Yeah.
So dealing with and one of the things is, I don't know, I'll just go here. You ever been sitting, of course not with your wife, but if you ever been sitting with your girl before she was your wife, and she's getting on your everlasting nerves, and you like, man, if I was just with Sheila right now, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Like, ain't no pressure.
Ain't no accountability.
Ain't no accountability. It's no pressure. It's no accountability. It's no care. You just don't give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying. I also know that as your wife knows you the same thing. The same thing that you're throwing out there is the exact same thing that she knows. Like,
I ain't never dealt with multiple men.
But hold on. I want to get, but I mean, I'm not even talking about multiple men. I'm dealing with one man. She has to deal with the worst of you too.
No,
but hold on. Let me just say that, because I want to, because I don't want this to go by quickly, because I want to bring this back up now, and that was the trauma conversation.
Yeah,
that is one of the best things I've heard. And you do go through it, but a lot of times when you don't have that trauma conversation, because sometimes the shit you're doing has nothing to do with your significant other. Yeah, a lot of it. You're absolutely right. And sometimes it takes those conversations to really get it where a person understands that I may be just going through something. Because we all think it has to do with us, because we're arrogant and egotistical. We think everything that person is going through has to do with you somehow. And sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes they just need you to be there while they go through it. And that was hard for me to realize. You know what I'm saying? Hard for me to realize, because as a man, the only thing you want to do is solve. I want to solve every problem. Well, sometimes I can't solve. That problem been there for 30 years. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? That problem ain't got a goddamn thing to do with me.
It's still going to be there.
Yeah, exactly. It's still going to be there, but you got to learn. You just learn to maneuver it, or to understand, or give them that time and not take it personal and not get upset with that. So, I mean, I think that is definitely a great thing to have in a relationship, is have those trauma conversations, but they're hard to have. And there's one more thing that I also want to make sure that I say: when you're doing that, you cannot use that against the person, because that can be detrimental to your relationship. If you have that trauma conversation and you have that for real, like, especially for a man, I'm just going to talk for me personally. If you use that against me, you will never get me to open up to you again. You know what I'm saying? It will take years before I open up to you again, because you use something that is very personal and very emotional to myself. You know what I'm saying? And that is something that I've seen in the past and have experienced. And just to say, when you have those trauma conversations and you open up to each other, don't ever use that against that other person.
I learned that lesson the hard way, Rodney. Because I am that type of person. So like, for example, she could come to me and be like, Paul, I used to be a crackhead. I come in the house, where's my gold watch?
Yeah.
Why would you accuse me of moving it, Paul? Because you used to be a crackhead, lady. That's why. That's what the fuck that's why. So I got to a point where she explained, like, just dealing with her in general, I learned that that's not the best practice. Now,
Oh, it's
We
a
got
horrible
married April.
practice.
I want y'all to pay close attention to this. We got married April 17th, 2023. All right.
Okay.
April 20th, 2023 was the first time we've dealt with each other for about to be 9 years now. Come September to be 9 years. It's the first time in our 9 years of dealing with each other that she's ever done that. She's used something that I've told her against me. And it completely derailed the first year of our marriage.
Mm. Hey, and it can happen. That's why I said it's tough. That's what I was saying. It's a great thing to do, but you also got to make sure you protect that. Whatever that is, you protect it as that, and you don't use it against that person because that can really butcher a relationship. I've been married 23 years, dog. Let me tell you something. It was my wife did that to me, and it butchered our relationship for years.
Listen,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm
for
thankful.
Years. And I mean, it happens, and it can be so simple too. It isn't even like it could be intentional or whatever the case may be, but it's still, it's something that you really have to when you have those trauma conversations and things like that, you have to hold that to your heart, and you have to protect it just like it was something. It is something. You know what I'm saying? And even me, I've opened up about my traumas and things like that, and I still deal with them. I have done therapy and witchcraft. I still deal with my trauma every day. I still deal with my trauma. My wife, when we was in Indonesia, she had to leave me for a day to do something for a job, and I told her, I was like, "Yeah, once you go, I just need that love to make sure I'm in that comfortable because I have abandonment issues." You leave if you're gone for 24 hours and you don't answer the phone when I call. Oh shit! Next thing you know, the devil's in my ear. I'm spiraling. I'm drinking. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing this now. Now when you call me, I'm pissy drunk and cursing
I'm telling you about
it. Yeah, and cursing you out because I turn into that 11-year-old child. You know what I'm saying? Like, even I know it, and I still can't control it. It's crazy. Like, I know
it's coming.
yeah. And I'm trying my best to control it, but it still happens. You know what I'm saying? So, go ahead, Crystal. You got something to say?
Yeah, what I was going to say just about the trauma conversation, I don't really know. We started because we just used to talk about multitude of things, and trauma is something that I don't hold dearly in the uplight, but I try to tell everyone it's okay to speak about your trauma because it does reshape you. And once you go through something, um, you don't really never revert from that. So whenever trauma first came into your life, the second things get tough or you're triggered, you go right back to that trauma. Like people can say, "Oh, I was 5 when something happened," and now I'm 29. So 24 years ago, soon as a trigger come up, I'm back that 5-year old. And it takes for someone really mature, not just in a relationship anyways, really mature to see you as that 5-year old. And where I kind of reversed the generational curse in my family is that I started to reparent myself. It was like, okay, I was 5 when something happened. And then now every time I turn into that 5-year old, I have to make the conscious decision to treat myself like the 5-year old that I wanted my parents to treat it. So with re-parenting yourself and saying things differently or over, you have to, it takes a sense of vulnerability and transparency to open up to said partner. And that's not always the best thing because now you're rehashing a trauma. That meant anything like for me, I am the queen of silence. I will block out things to the point where I forgot something happened. And then in conversation, it makes me bring up, and then I'm reliving something. So when I give it to you, or you give it back to me, or whoever it is that's listening, when you're expressing your traumas and someone else is expressing their traumas, you have to be very gentle because it's not like you're hurting the 5-year old. You're hurting the 5-year old, but now if the person is 29, now you're killing the 29-year old as well. And it just does more damage. And it took for me to, because I can always say, like, I take a lot of things and I can deal with my own things. Like, if I gave Paul something and say that he just betrayed my trust and brought something back up, I can deal with that because in my trauma, I'm used to it. But for him, seeing it on the other end, it was kind of like, I knew better, but I didn't do better. and now I have to go through the different phases of a person because you can't just undo it.
Yeah.
Now the person has to go through it. So now I have to
Well,
deal
you
with.
have to build that trust back.
You do. And sometimes, if you're not careful, like at least for me, accountability is a thing where it's just like, especially when I don't like anyone that I love to be displeased with anything that I do. So when they show their displeasure, now I become avoidant. And it's like, ugh, I don't want to even have to go into this room because I created this chaos and now I have to be vulnerable to rebuild it. But it took for me to just have to say, you know what? If he gives me lip, he give me attitude. If he's distant, I have to go through that. Why? Because I always want to show him this is how I want to be treated. So if I done something to you now, I just gotta go through it. But it's always to show up like you might not want to come out the room, but as soon as you come out the room, I'm at the door. Like, it's just you just have to it's just a different sense of maturity, and not a lot of people go through it because unless you are in tune with your own traumas to know what it does to you internally, you can never externally fix it for another person. So
Okay.
Yeah, she cut me like a steak and cheese on the third day, and it fucked me up so much that I kind of like when I look back now, being where we are now, like for at least 5 6 months, I totally ignored her. Like I went and got another job. Got another job. She asked me like, Paul, why you working so much? Because I don't want to be home.
Hey,
Because
I mean,
I wasn't I didn't have the if I would have known what I know now, like as soon as we talked about it, like when we really had a real heart to heart conversation and I broke it down, what she said and how it made me feel and all of these things, shit started to get better. But this is one thing I want to say. I didn't even pray about it. I didn't even want it to get better. I didn't even want to
mm,
forgive her.
nah, I got you.
I
Nah, I
I
felt
knew if
that.
I talked to God about it, if I gave it to God, I
Mm,
knew He'd fix it some type of way. I knew
yeah.
I ain't even want Him to fix it. I told God, "You stay out of this. Like, don't even get into this." So I look back over our first year of marriage when everybody told us it was going to be the most difficult, and I would say like I I pretty much caused that. Like I was the most difficult
Well, you
one. I
caused it
was
for yourself. I mean, that's because you didn't want to.
Yeah, I was the difficult.
You didn't want to allow it to get better. You know what
No,
I'm saying?
I
Yeah.
was the
No, I get.
difficulty.
Yeah.
I'm the
Yeah.
only. She got siblings that live with her on both sides. My siblings don't live with me. They never live with me. I'm the only child. So when it comes to being by myself, being self-reliant, self-sufficient, self anything, I'm good.
Selfish. Go ahead.
Selfish, whatever you want to
Yeah.
say, I'm good.
No,
I'm good
no, I
with that.
gotta.
I'm good at a point. I don't abandonment issues came later in my life when I realized I had them. But when I really go back to my childhood, I be like, man, you know what? I was cool with just me. I had a bunch of toys, every game system you can imagine, a TV, remote,
Yeah, I
cable.
know you took all mine during Christmas. Anyway,
Yeah,
I ain't gonna bring that
I,
up. But
that's another trauma conversation that you can
that's
have on
my
your own.
trauma. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
my trauma
that's
right
your
there.
trauma.
Yeah,
But
yeah, it's all
I
good.
really became the difficulty in my marriage.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
became the
that's strong to
difficulty.
say, brother. Nah, that's
Yeah,
strong and
I
powerful right
literally
there.
became. I was like,
And
man, you know
then,
what? I don't care what she does.
mm,
And immediately, and this is what I can say to her credit. Shortly after, she started becoming. I was already so look. She started becoming to being the best wife that she could be in these moments. Like she started going into doing the things that will make her be the best moment that she can be. In my mind, the steps that I was taking to mature and grow, because I was already on. Listen, I learned the word on April 20th. I did not know what the word annulment meant. I never heard of it. I didn't only know marriage and divorce. That's all I knew. But I was so hurt on the 20th. I looked up a word. I looked. I put in Google. I only been married for a week, and I don't want to be again, and I don't want to be anymore. And annulment came up.
All right, well let's all right. I hear you, but let's go past it. Let's talk about the good stuff. I want to hear about the Poconos real quick. How'd that go? And where y'all are now, and where you want to be in the future that you learned from this marriage seminar. What when you now that you left, you're gone. Is there anything that you're going to put in place? That anything that you feel is the next step for your marriage to make it grow, in that you'll be 23 years in and 30 years in and 35 years in?
I won't take anything. Like, I learned to separate the person's actions from who the person is. So, because that's what I want done for me. So I know that I'm a flawful person. I will make mistakes from now until the time I'm dead. But the grace I want is the grace that I'll give.
Okay, I
You
like it.
know, the space that I want to be in, as far as like, and vice versa. She's gonna, I'm pretty sure.
Nah, don't tell me what she's going to do. Tell me what you're going to do. I'm not worried about what she's
No, no,
going to
no.
do. She can tell me for herself.
I'm pretty sure she's gonna make mistakes. So I want to be able to say, like, all right, I'm not gonna personalize this thing. Like, you know how everybody wants to say this person did something to me. I want to be able to say this person did something, not this person is what they did. Like,
Okay.
like whatever it is that she does, I know we've built a rapport enough to where I know that she wouldn't intentionally do something to hurt me or make me feel less than or messed up or any type of way like that. So I want to be able to look beyond the action and just deal with the person.
Okay. All right, Crystal, what about for you?
For me, it's really just patience. This is a process. Every
Mm,
day is a learning experience, and to leave room for the other person to grow. Anybody who knows growth is not pretty. It's hard, and it is unlearning and peeling back different layers. And sometimes, or at least in my past, I wasn't always accepting to growth, because growth, it looks different for each person. So just having this patience to allow my spouse to grow, and also to make the space for him to grow, because I don't want to put a cap on growth. So just moving forward, just being a little more understanding, a little more gracious. Sometimes you have to extend the grace that you would like, so someone else can extend it back to you. If I hold you to a standard or say this is my cutoff, then anytime you're reaching it, you'll shrink. And I want it to grow. I want my marriage to grow. I want to be able to help young people. I'm maybe the youngest person in my family to ever be married. Maybe I'm about to do the research on it, but I got married at 27. So just young, and just to know that, like, I don't want I don't want to repeat itself. I don't want my marriage to look like anybody's in my family. I want it to be something new. I wanted to create different things, and I want it to be personal. So just being patient through that process. Like, I'm only on year one, so when I hear like you, Ronnie, say you're on 23 and 42, sometimes, at least as women, we're processed to have a marriage and to love. And sometimes, I can't look so far ahead. I have to just look at today. I can't
yeah.
say, oh, I want to be
Yeah.
married in 42 years. So I'm going to get, it's just like,
Trust me.
take it day by day. And then if you keep doing the work, you
Man.
keep showing up, keep listening to God, keep him as my focal point, then one day I'll look up and I'll have the 42 years versus rushing it.
Nah, you good. Nah, you can only do it one day at a time. That's it. It's one day at a time. Coach, you got anything you want
Nah,
to
man.
add or say?
Yeah, I mean, I think y'all on the right path. Like, y'all got some tools in place. You just need to, when you get to certain times, you need to pull out your toolkit, right, and remember what you already know, and then execute. You know what I'm saying? How to get through that particular situation. There's going to be situations that, you know what I'm saying, that are going to challenge your marriage. Like, it's not easy, right? You know what I mean? There are easy times, but there are fun times, there are good times, there are bad times. And you just got to recognize, you know what I'm saying, what's attacking you. You know what I mean? Once you realize what's really attacking you, then you'll be able to handle it. You know what I'm saying? As a unit. You know what I mean? When a man and a woman agree on something, God makes it happen. Always remember that. When y'all agree as a husband and a wife, God will make it's unstoppable. Just know that. You know what I mean? And always rely on that truth. You know what I mean? And you know what I'm saying? Continue to just look at inside yourself for the change that you want. You know what I mean? And do it that way. So, I mean, me and Rodney, I mean, we've been with our wives over 20 years. And to tell y'all that, you know what I'm saying, every year has been gravy is an outright lie. You know what I mean? And that's like Rodney said earlier. Like, you're going to change. What you value right now ain't what you going to value in 10 years. I promise you that.
Mm-hmm. And
You
you
know
have
what
to
I mean?
redate each other. You have to
Huh?
relearn. You have to redate and relearn.
You gotta date each other. But just what, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta date each other. And you know what I'm saying? There's gonna be mental changes that happen over those years, physical changes that happen, family changes that happen. And you know what I'm saying? All of that comes into play. And you just gotta recognize that you two, you know what I'm saying, are in it together. You know what I'm saying? And continue to work towards each other. Right? Always take the step towards each other. And if you do that, you'll be straight. Because when one person's taking a step back, the other person is still stepping forward towards them. Remember that.
Yeah. Absolutely. On that note, we're going to go ahead in this part of the interview process and get into our little extracurricular stuff. One, if you are on this earth, then of course you know about Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef. So, me myself, I've been enjoying it. I think it's great for hip hop. Do I really think that this beef is something that I need to be worried about? Or, it ain't like the old school East West beef, in my opinion, where people was worried about being on the block and stuff like that. But I do think it is good for hip hop. It's been the first time that I have been paying attention and couldn't wait for anything to drop or whatever the case may be, because I just find it entertaining. It kind of reminds me of the WWE, the way it's going on. But what do y'all fellas think? Paul, I know you're heavy into music, so I mean, well, I'll let Coach go first, and then Paul, you tell me how you feel. Coach, how you feel about it?
I think, I mean, I listened to all of it. Me and the wife discussed it the other day. She tried to tell me that Kendrick had it wasn't she didn't know it was as deep as what it was, like how many songs had dropped. She tried to say that Euphoria was the like first shot, and it really wasn't the first shot. But I mean, she sent me the list, and I mean, I've listened to the whole thing. I mean, honestly, to me, it's just one rapper telling the other rapper that, like, yeah, you got yours from the commercial standpoint, but you're not a better rapper than me. And that's just, you know what I'm saying, what Kendrick is putting out there. You know what I mean? And then Drake, of course, responds, and Kanye jumps in, and J. Cole know better. J. Cole know to keep his mouth shut. You know what I'm saying? Because he don't want to smoke.
Paul, you can interrupt, man. This is the time we can interrupt each other now. You can interrupt if you got something to say.
So I'm gonna say it like this. I'm a fan of neither, but I'm a fan of rap, and Kendrick is talking to this grown man on a whole nother level. Like every principle that you have that at your foundation that makes you a grown man and a respectable grown man, Kendrick is showing that he's peeling back layers of Drake that if you ain't really paying attention. Like this been going on for 10, 15 years now. This not just this didn't just start.
Yeah.
This been going on for about 12, 13 years, I say. And Drake has been taking shots, and Kendrick took the shot with the Control verse, and so, but for Kendrick at first it was just let's just spar, let's just rap, and we'll just rap, and we'll see who better, who not better. Just don't bring up my family, and I'll let your legacy be intact for forever. Like you're good. Drake decided to take the low road and talk about his family. And then Kendrick started peeling back layers of like, I mean, he attacked this man's religion and the lack of standing up for it. He attacks this man financial. He attacks this man moral and principle. He attacks this man's heart and courage. Like I'll go, okay, his religion. When people were talking about the Jews and all of that, he didn't stand up for the Jews. He has a black Christian father. He doesn't take that stand. When it comes to financial, he's signed to like 5 different people. 5 different people has his hand in his money. Okay, he talked about his
dude who signed to a dude who signed to a dude.
Yeah, you talking about your moral and principle. You were on stage dancing with a 16-year-old girl at a concert, kissing on her neck and all these things.
Yeah.
You really did do these things. Okay, that's your moral and principle. The second thing, he attacks you as your manhood. You did let a nigga piss on you in the movie theater. You did let Puffy smack you in your face and you didn't do nothing. Like, these are the things he's peeling back. And to me, when it gets to that, it's nothing else Drake can say. Because Drake, you can keep rapping good raps and making good records and all of that. That's cool. But nigga, you can't get your manhood back.
Nah, I got you. Nah,
yeah, I mean,
it's over to me. It's over.
Kendrick is intentionally now trying to end his relevance.
So this is what I'll say to that, Vance. And I made the song Euphoria and Meet the Grams comparable to Ether in a sense that Nas was not the bigger artist in the battle between him and Jay-Z.
Right.
But Ether ended it. It didn't end Jay-Z.
Ether caused the reconciliation. It did.
Yeah. Ether ended it. It didn't end Jay-Z though. Jay-Z career went up. His money still went up. Oh, so that's the same thing that's going to happen to Drake. This is not 50 Cent and Ja Rule right here. Yeah. This ain't that. This is, listen, let me talk to you as a grown man for a second. You got to get your life in order. You need to go see a therapist, man. Mm-hmm. You need to go sit down, find your identity as a man, who you want to be. The man told his son, listen, Adonis, never let a man piss on your leg. You either die right there or you put one in his head. Mm-hmm. Like, Nick, Roddy, that's like me saying, RJ, listen, don't be like your dad for this reason, that reason. Nigga, mm-hmm. he talking to him. He's giving Drake free therapy. He should have billable hours right there. Like, because he's giving it to him like in a way that is like, and then what bothers me is to see Drake in bitch ass mode where he goes and says, first he says, the person who fed you this information is a clown. Then later on in that same verse, he says, I fed you that information. I paid them people to feed you that information. Yeah. Which one is it? Do you got a clown in your circle that's betraying you? I'm not worried about it,
but the crazy thing is, you talking about the least condemning thing that he said, which was, you got a daughter out here that nobody know about. Well, you already did it once, so it ain't like it's unfeasible.
Yeah, you know who cares about your daughter? Slim, you
Let's
got
talk
smacked.
about these A minors. You know what I'm saying?
You got smacked. Yeah. You kissing girls on stage at your concert. You bringing them on stage. You're not checking ID. Okay. You let a nigga piss on.
So you good? So you team K-Dot? You saying K-Dot?
No, I'm not team. I'm team grown ass man.
All right.
Yeah, I'm a street nigga. I don't care about none of this hip hop propaganda. I'm not into all that. I'm into grown man shit. You don't have to tell another grown Rodney. I will never have to tell you. You might have never did a street thing in your life, Rodney or Vance. Y'all might never did nothing in the street in your life. I don't have to tell y'all not to let a nigga piss on y'all.
Yeah.
That's just not something I have to say.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't have to tell y'all to ask for ID.
Yeah.
Right.
True.
I got
You know what I'm saying? I don't have to tell y'all to count y'all money. It's certain things like I'm on team grown man. I'm just here for the sport.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear you.
Like I didn't have no like I like Nas and Jay-Z.
Well, hold on.
You know
Before you go into that, let's go into the next question real quick. We got time is running low, so I'm gonna go ahead and get it to. But the next question, all right. So the next question is the question of the week. Make sure you put your comments in the comments today, which is who was the better storyteller, Notorious B.I.G. or Ice Cube?
Ice Cube.
As far as
Ice
storytelling rap, huh?
Ice Cube.
Ice Cube.
Easily.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Easily.
I can tell you why. Go ahead. Tell me why for you.
I'm gonna give it to you as a lyricist, right? And I give the same thing to Rick Ross, Lil Wayne, people that Pusha T, people of that caliber. Ice Cube, you really had niggas believing you was a gangster. For about 10 years, 15 years, niggas really believed you was. Niggas believed you. You told your story so well that niggas believe not only was you from Compton, but that you was a real gangster. And you ain't.
He wasn't. He's a school kid. Went to school.
Yeah.
He wasn't a gang member. He wasn't none of that.
Nah, I get it. I hear you. Okay.
The first words of NWA coming straight out of Compton, a crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube. Like, that is the first introduction to NWA.
Yeah.
Then not only are you a great storyteller as you telling it, but you wrote 80% of the stories that other people were telling.
Yeah, of the other stories people were telling.
Nah,
so I'm gonna get a nod. I'm gonna get a nod. Plus, Biggie only got 2 albums, man, and you know, like, you know,
and not all of his joints were stories. He's like, he had some good ones though. You know what I'm saying? The Niggas Bleed Like Us was good.
I Got a Story to Tell.
I Got a Story to Tell was really, really good.
What's my joint with Who the Fuck Is This? Paging
yeah,
that's 5:46 in the morning, crack of dawn, and niggas
that's what that was.
Wipe the cold out my eyes, yeah.
But none of that trumps Mama Cooking Breakfast with No Hog.
Yeah.
Today Was a Good Day is the number one.
That's a whole
my number one.
Fucked around and got a triple-double. Like, nah,
and you know they did the research that was January 20th, like 1991 was the day. They broke it down to the exact day when all that stuff really happened or whatever, and is according to the story.
But I'm asleep on how good of albums Ice Cube actually had.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Death Certificate, one of my favorite albums.
Yeah, some great albums. Yeah, 100%.
Right. I'm going with Ice Cube by a landslide. I mean, if you look at his later career after rap, you can see what type of storyteller he is in his movies.
Yeah, that's true.
You can see like the same principles he used in Today Was a Good Day is the same principles he used to make Barbershop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take a regular day in South Central Los Angeles, and I'm gonna paint it so good verbally that you can see it. Yep. I'm gonna take a regular day in a black barbershop in anywhere in America, and I'm gonna paint it so good that it's relatable to everybody that may see this movie. Like, Barbershop is one of the most regular, like, not star-studded. It's a regular movie. It's a regular day. It's a movie about a regular day.
Yeah.
And they had 3 of them.
Yeah. Friday was a movie about a day.
Yeah.
One day.
About
one day.
A day.
Yeah. You right. You right. I never even put that together, but I understand.
What's
it
my
now. I
other
understand
one?
what you're saying.
I-10 by 10. When he played the father and he was taking his kids
Are
on
we
a
there
vacation.
yet?
Are we there yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. Nah, I never even thought
Storyteller.
about that. So yeah, we give all right. So we all agree Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Ice Cube,
Hey.
easily.
Easily.
Hey. All right. Well, let's see what everybody else think. Hey, fellas, it was another great show. Paul, hey, tell Crystal, said thank you. Make
Yes.
sure, we appreciate y'all coming back and reporting back to us about the relationship conference. If you're interested in looking into the relationship conference, it's Elevate Church in Alexandria, Virginia. Pastor Dorsey is the pastor. He's one of the greatest men that I've known. I've known him for 40 years, and he's a phenomenal person. Walks and talks exactly what he says. So you can I definitely respect him and give him his utmost flowers. But thank you for giving us the playback on the relationship conference and what you learned. I appreciate you being vulnerable and having this time, and just thank you for your time, man. And we're gonna go ahead in the show. Coach, appreciate you joining us this week. We'll see you next week when Matty Ice gets back. Hopefully everything works out at his house, and just thank y'all for having a good time. God bless. Good night.
Oh yeah.